I want to welcome you to Talking to Fastlane, and I'm really honored to have you guys on the show today.
Thank you so much for having us on. We
Yeah,
really
cheers.
appreciate it.
So really, it's I want to say congratulations on the new album. I mean, new sensation. I can't believe it's been December 8th. So you guys are going on what, a month and a half right now. But
Yeah.
Cassidy, your debut album. Uh, how did all that come about? I mean, that's let me start by saying it's a fantastic album. I mean, it's a great listen all the way through, and it's like
Thank,
it's like you've been doing this forever.
thank you. That's really kind. Yeah. The album kind of has been in the works for a while now. We were writing. I've been writing and recording for a little while, probably coming up to like 5 years or something. Like I started when I was like 14 or 15 years old, so quite young. But and Tom's been doing the same as well personally. So it's been great to put out this record and for it to have such an awesome response. That's like the best thing possible that an artist and a band could ask for. So we're really happy with the response, and we can't wait to get to the United States. So we're
Yeah, for
very
sure.
excited.
I've never been, so it's gonna be great.
You know what? I have that as part of my questions too, so I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully, you guys can get here. Would love to see you. Believe me.
Yeah,
Believe me.
yeah. Thank you. We will. We're definitely in discussions with a lot of people to do some international touring at the moment. So
That's
we're
great.
really excited to get back to the US for sure.
That's great. I wanted to talk about the new album, and I wanted to start out with the two videos that you have out, the two performance videos. Obviously,
Hmm.
Danger and Here I Am.
Yeah.
Two different song styles. But what I love about this, Cassidy, is it gives the audience, especially people that haven't heard you before, the little bit heavier side with Danger,
Yeah.
and Here I Am, and that shows just how excellent your vocals are. I
Thank
mean,
you.
just on this, it's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah. I think for me, the vocals was a really important part of this album, and I was and the record label as well were very particular about what songs they wanted to make singles, and I felt very passionately about Danger and Here I Am both being singles, as with Walking on Fire as well. But definitely Here I Am was one that we wanted to make a video for because it translates really well live, and it's one of I would call it a crowd favorite when we play it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We just did a run of UK shows at the in November of last year, in December, early December, and it was one of the favorites from the crowd. So we're really happy that it's people are loving it and that people are enjoying what we're putting out there.
Yeah, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Let's talk about the album because I've listened through this album probably 5 or 6 times at least, and
Oh
that's the
yeah,
truth because it's a really good listen. You know,
thanks.
the album kicks off with Danger, and it's a little heavier song, and
Mhm.
Rock and Roll Heart's obviously one of my favorites. I think that's a killer song. Coming in second, but I have a couple favorites on the album. That I wanted to discuss, and one of them is
Yeah,
Midnight Desire. You
thanks.
work the whole way through the album with all these great listens, and then to finish it like that. And I hear a lot of Sandy Soraya in it, who I think is an amazing singer. Um,
Thanks. Yeah.
so tell us about the writing of this album. I mean, there's a lot of diversity in it, but for such a young singer, and obviously young talent in this band, you got one sitting right next to you there. What's it like for you guys? I mean, going in, to do something like this, because this is major scale and it's like I said again, it's fantastic stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, sort of. We kind of, me and my brother plays the drums in the band. We joined just after the album was recorded and sort of all set. So we've mainly been live at the moment and working on new songs and stuff as of now. But yeah, I think you did a lot of the stuff sort of from home studio and then get it
Yeah.
professionally mixed and stuff. It works out pretty well like that. Especially, I mean, Cassidy can say for herself, but like for a vocalist, if you're not quite feeling it one day, but you've got to drive to the studio because that's your studio slot, and you've got a bit of a cold or you're not feeling it. There's like a lot of pressure, and then you know, you want to try and do your best, but at least if you're recording in a home studio, whenever you're feeling it, you can just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying to an interviewer earlier that one of the things that my dad said when my parents were building this place, they were like, we need to have a home studio. That is one thing that I can't go without, and I'm very glad that he said that, because it definitely has paid off, and now I can record my vocals in the home studio, as the guitars were also recorded at our home studio. So it was fantastic to kind of have the ability to do that. And it was also great in like times like COVID and stuff for us to be able to have access to a studio and to be able to, you know, write music and record it very like almost instantly, I guess. So yeah, I think it's really it panned out well though, and everything kind of fell into place. And we had Alessandro Del Vecchio. He was the producer on this record, and he was just so fantastic to work with. He's a monster of a vocalist. He's such an awesome vocalist, but his production as well is just as good. He's fantastic. So everyone that worked on this record had a great time doing it, and we as a band like pride ourselves in working with good people, and we'll continue to do that in our careers because it's very important.
You just brought up Alessandro, and I had him on, I think maybe a month and a half ago.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah,
the guy is absolutely amazing. I mean, I told him, I said, I've never seen an artist that diverse. I mean, just everything that he plays, and really,
yeah.
and to have, you know, to have him working on this album with you guys is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And Alessandro, like he's one of our good friends as well. It's nice to have, you know, that connection with people that you're working with. I mean, it's one thing to work with people, but when you're, you know, you have to be in a good environment and stuff, and work with people that you actually enjoy working with. And that's something that I guess even translated like into a band perspective as well for us, because like it's really important to be on tour with like people that you kind of classify as your family, because sometimes you're on tour for like, you know, half the year or sometimes a full year. And if that's what your schedule demands, it's what it demands.
Yeah, it's definitely demanding, that's for sure. That's for
Yeah.
sure. You know, you talked about the you know, a little bit about the recording process. And, you know, I'm sure, Cassidy, when you go in as a vocalist, you know,
Hmm.
you have so much range and you could do so many different things. There
Thank
has to
you.
be a comfort level, you know, for you going into the studio. I mean, you know, working with Alessandro and, you know, and Paul Laine had some
Yeah.
things to do with this, so I think is amazing. Um,
Yeah.
what's it like for you, you know, going in, like say this first time, obviously, with this debut album, there had to be a nice level of comfort, you know, knowing that, you know, I'm able to do this and then have that home studio as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think for me, like I was saying before, it's like the people that you work with as well. And I feel very lucky because you know, a lot of the people I work with are guys and are men, and I have some really supportive, nice people in my corner, and that you know, if you're not feeling motivated, or you know, you need to try and get into the zone or something, I have obviously my dad, and then I have Tom and his brother, and um, that's more than what I could ever ask for as like even a female in the industry as well, because a lot of the time you are surrounded by people that you don't know, or you haven't worked with before, and that just kind of brings a level of comfort for me. Even working with Paul, like I've known Paul since I was maybe like 9 years old now, or
Oh,
11 years old or something like that. So and he kind of feels like a second dad to me in a lot of ways, because not only has he kind of like schooled me in the way of like and educated me in the way of like music and writing, and but also like his life lessons. Paul will tell you the best stories ever, and obviously he knows his way around the industry quite well. So every time he comes over, I'm like a sponge and take in everything he says, because he's like such an awesome person to listen to speak.
absolutely. And master of the hook too. I mean, he has so many, everything that
Mm,
he does, and
yeah,
it's just like it just flows out. You know, what I wanted to ask you about is the songwriting process. You know, again, you know, we
yeah.
talked about the studio, but what when you go in to write a song, what is the main idea? Is it a riff? Is it a chorus? You know, the songs are very well structured. and there's a lot of depth to them and meaning. What's it like when you go in and write a song for you?
Yeah, well, I think the situation kind of differs depending on the day. Like if you're you're writing a very like emotional raw song, then obviously it's a little bit difficult, well, more difficult, or can be easier as well to get the words out onto the page. Or a lot of the times I start with like the riff, or like the musical part of it, like the on guitar or something like that, and then I'll write the lyrics. But then there's other times, Tom and I were discussing this the other day, that like you have a bank of lyrics in your phone when you're a songwriter, and
Right.
like your notes are just like lyrics that you've, come up with. Whether you're walking, you said you came out of like a lake or something the other day to go to record a voice memo in your phone.
Yeah, loads of voice memos with new song 1, new song 1.1, new idea for a song, blah blah blah. The list goes on. There's hundreds of them with just us humming into a phone.
Yeah.
If anyone else heard my voice memos, they'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's he
If
doing?
anyone finds our phones, I'd be like,
It sounds great in my head.
yeah.
Really good. On the phone, it sounds like,
That's it.
yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely if you're going into a session as well, like you're going into a session with someone, then that obviously is very different as well. And or you could just like, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, song idea, and then I go
Right.
and grab the guitar and like record it. And you got to be really quiet as well. Like obviously I live with my parents still, and
Right.
just can't let anyone else wake up, because if everyone else wakes up and it's not a hit single, it's not good enough. It's definitely it's fun to see how you come up with ideas sometimes, for sure.
That's great to hear. And it's like the technology that we have nowadays, it has to be great for for artists too. I mean, just to have
Yeah.
that list, because everybody I talk to, gives me that idea, and it's funny to hear how they put these songs together and stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Very true.
You two brought up earlier, about the live, stuff that you're doing, and I went in and listened to a lot of the stuff to YouTube, some of the fest that you did and things over in the UK. What I like about with this band being a younger band, I think you
Yeah.
guys really caught it good live, because the backup vocals hit well, and it's a really good high energy sound. Yeah, that's it. That's it. What's it
Thank you.
What's it like? I mean, it's the transitions are incredible. When you listen to an album and you hear the way it sounds, and then you hear it live, how's the audience been responding to you guys? I mean, over the last couple months.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been great. Like the response from the crowds in the UK. Like we did a festival in Scotland called Winter Storm. We played on the main stage. I think it was like midday or something, or half past midday, and it was packed. And it was
Nice.
like, yeah, the audience. You'd say, "Oh, how are we doing?" And it was like a really good like roar from the audience. And after the first kind of chorus, you could see people were kind of getting into it, and because some of the songs are like songs you feel like you've heard before after you've heard like 30 seconds sort of thing. So people can sing along and just have a good time and whatnot. And that's what it's all about, really. But yeah, the response has been awesome live. And for us, like it's quite satisfying being able to recreate something that's recorded, but in a live setting, and the harmonies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
satisfying. Yeah.
I definitely agree. And like the great thing as well is like when we do play live, like Tom said, we played at like midday, because a lot of the time we're the openers, because we're the newcomers, we're the new band, and we will play wherever on the bill. We do not care at all. We just like love to be there and be involved and things like that. So it's great to see that people like packed out the room at like midday, and a lot of people are hungover a lot of the time,
Right.
from
Right.
for the festival. And like to see that, I saw this video that someone took of Winterstorm, and right before our set there was a massive line all around the building, like just people lining up to come see us, and I was like, that's insane. Like
Right.
we've played Winterstorm once, and and that was packed as well.
Yeah.
And
I think we were on like 20 minutes after the doors opened or something, so we were just trying to check everyone's tickets in and get everyone super good.
Exactly, yeah. And the same with like Planet Rock stuff. We were on really early and people were just loving it. And Planet Rock Radio is a huge radio station in the UK, so we were really excited to be part of that festival.
Yeah, that was a highlight for sure.
It was definitely very exciting.
Cool. That's great to hear that you get that kind of reception. You know, I mean, that has to be, you know, for all the work that you put in, you know, to have that type of satisfaction means so much. And I'm happy for you guys. It's great to see it.
Thank you. Yeah, and we're so grateful as well to all the people that have come out and you know, people that banded together to try and, you know, get us to the UK and get us to Japan and obviously get us to the US very soon, which is really exciting. So there are a lot of people that are kind of rallying together to get us to places internationally, so that's super exciting.
It's like really good for like some people in the crowd. Some people came to like 5, 6, 7, 8 shows on that tour. Like
they just follow us
all over.
That's cool. That's it. Like the Grateful Dead, huh?
And the people coming out on like Monday night or a Tuesday night to pack somewhere, that's awesome. Like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we played a lot of packed out venues, which was fantastic on that tour. And, you know, a lot of people hadn't seen us ever before, or like, even, like interviewers we're speaking to said that we heard your music 2 weeks ago. And I was like, that's crazy. And it's so exciting as well. Like, for a young artist, like I just turned 21 and Tom turned 22. So we're reasonably young, I would say. And, we're just very grateful to be here.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, it's great for, you know, guys like me that have been a fan of this kind of music for 40 years now.
Yeah.
You know, when I was young, and, you know, to see young artists doing this, you know, because, you know, we don't see it over here, not like we used to. And then to see you guys and have all these great, you know, influences that I can hear in the music. It says a lot about you, and it's excellent to hear it. Believe me.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
You know, Cassidy, I wanted to bring up, you know, how you got started. I mean, you know, you said 21, Tom's 22. How did you guys get started? I mean, you know, like I said, when you listen to this album and you don't know any of the background about it, you could say, well, this team right here is a bunch that's, you know, they've been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah.
What was it like when you got started? How did that happen?
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that firstly. Like, we really appreciate it. But yeah, it's been a journey to get to this point for sure. And my dad's been in the industry for a very long time, and he kind of brought me up on that that classic rock and 80s hair metal, you know, hooky, catchy choruses and things like that. And that's kind of what I was brought up on. But in no way did he pressure me into listening to that style of music. My brother listens to anything but rock music essentially, and he's just equally as proud of him. So I just kind of said to my dad that, you know, this is where I want to be and this is what I want to do. And he was so supportive of that. And I feel very lucky as well to play in a band with my dad. My dad plays lead guitar, and he's going to be playing bass soon in the band. So it's very, very exciting for us to, you know, to have that bond and to continue to tour together as like father and daughter. That's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, like I said, I think your situation is kind of similar. You grew up with your dad loving that style of music.
Yeah, for sure. And we've both sort of been writing songs since like maybe 13, 14, but obviously from other sides of the world. And then sort of met a few years ago, and it was like, it just kind of worked. Writing songs together and stuff. So
yeah, and it's kind of cool as well. Like, we were watching Hailstorm last night, and we were saying that I think Lizzy Hale, her guitarist, is her boyfriend, and then her brother is the drummer, and then the dad used to be the bass player. And we were saying that, like, obviously Tom and Alex are brothers, and then me and my dad are related obviously too, right? So it's kind of a cool dynamic there, I guess. It's kind of like family band.
Well, it makes it for a better overall experience and better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because I mean, you already have that bond, and everybody's tight, and it brings it gels the band together. Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, exactly right.
Me and my brother, obviously, he's on the drums. We played in a band together since I was probably about 10 or something. So it's really good to be able to bounce off each other, sort of in that sense as well, with the songs and whatnot.
That's really cool to hear. That is really cool to hear. You know, Cassie, I wanted to bring this up because you're not just the lead singer in the band. You do a lot of things outside of it. And I read about this, and I thought this was really cool. But you know, promoting the anti-bullying,
Yeah.
you know, in schools around Melbourne and that organization, I read it, Metalheads Against Bullying. Tell us about that, because that's you know, that's something that I know hits over here as well. And to hear a young artist behind something like that, I think that says a lot about you. Tell us about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for sure, definitely like Metalheads Against Bullying has really given me the opportunity to share my experience with bullying when I was younger. So obviously I was into that different style of music to, you know, your everyday teenager. Like in Australia, rock music is not as big as it should be, and we intend to kind of change that. But yeah, like I think that a lot of people kind of had trouble digesting what I was kind of about in high school, and instead of supporting something that was different and unique, they rather, you know, band together and bully the person, which is crazy to me, because I think that individuality should be celebrated, not hated on. So like there were times at high school where I'd go into a room and they'd be playing and mocking my music video. Like I remember when Talk About It came out, like I didn't even want to show my face at school, which is like a pretty difficult thing for a young teenager to digest, when I've been brought up in the music scene that has always been so supportive of my career and so supportive of me playing guitar and learning guitar from my dad. And like I grew up around people like Danny Ciccardi, who's been in a bunch of bands, and he's in a band with my dad, and a bunch of my dad's friends are all musicians. So obviously they were very supportive of my career. So it was definitely a change to see when people weren't so much like that. But I think it definitely made me a stronger person, and it made me want to share my story to help others. And if I help one person, then that's a win for me. So Metalheads Against Bullying have been really awesome in giving me the platform to share that.
That's really cool to hear. That's good to, you know, to see that, because a lot of people, you know, suffer through that. You know, they
Yeah.
have you know, to have somebody that they see, you know, that broke through and became successful. You know, so now you can say, hey, look, you know, look what you did to me, but look what I'm doing now. You know, kind of
Yeah,
take that, you
exactly
know.
right.
That
Yeah.
says a lot about you. That's fantastic. That really is. That's great to hear.
Some of those people sort of turned around now, haven't they? And now they're coming to gigs or whatever, or putting
Yeah,
good
which is quite
comments and
funny.
stuff. And
Yeah. There's
That's
always
cool.
like your posers, and there's going to be your people that say they support you, but they really don't, and they're the ones that are mocking you behind your back. And I think that's something that you know, I kind of had to learn the hard way as well, a little bit in high school, because I tried to be friends with a lot of girls, and I ended up being friends with a lot of boys, because a lot of the times girls just didn't really understand what I was about, or they just don't support. And I'm not someone that wants to be in an environment where people are not supportive of each other, and I'd rather just be friends with who I can be friends with, and I'm not going to change myself for anyone. So
That's a way to be.
yeah.
Perfect. Way to go. Way to go. You know, I looked in, you know, some of your influences, obviously, and we talked about it. But I want to ask both of you this. Who are some of the influences that would surprise people? You know, obviously we see Cassidy, which you have, but go ahead, Tom. I'll let you go first.
oh, surprise!
Throw him right under the bus, right out of the gate.
That's an interesting one. Let's see. Ooh, there you put me on the spot now. Have you got any ideas? There'll definitely be some.
Probably not surprising like the rock scene for me, but like and a lot of people, I shared this on Instagram the other day, or like TikTok or something, and then everyone was like, I don't respect you as much anymore, but I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. And
Hey.
I met her when I was really young, and that kind of inspired me a lot. to do what I'm doing right now. I mean, not so much in the rock sense, but we're listening to some of Taylor Swift's old stuff.
Yeah,
and
good,
it's like,
good tunes.
you know, like
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
very rocky kind of bass tunes.
It's like how it's been marketed. It's like a pop artist, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like the kind of rocky. Like I don't know if you've heard of a band called Catfish and the Bottlemen.
I have not.
They're
No.
doing quite a lot in the US, and they were like from the same town as me in North Wales, and they were a rock
Cool.
band with long hair and stuff. But then they were totally marketed as this sort of pop music and stuff, and that kind of took off. So it's all about sort of marketing and stuff as well.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
I was just thinking then my artist maybe Robbie Williams has got some cheeky tunes
Robbie
for sure.
Williams is great. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's cool.
great.
But like we said, like we're very much like raised on that classic rock. Like I was speaking to another interviewer before, and he said like because I mentioned Ronnie James Dio, and I mentioned who else was it?
Like Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar, like Pat Benatar and Lita Ford and Vixen. I feel like you can hear in my music, but Ronnie James Dio, obviously, he's very different to what we're doing. And like a lot of things, even like I love Iron Maiden, I love like a bunch of bands like that. And obviously, they're so different to what we're doing, but there's still influences in a way.
Yeah.
Like Ronnie James Dio was one of the best frontmen ever.
Yeah.
So like I learned a lot from him in that way.
Totally.
And
like the AC/DC thing, I sort of been influenced obviously by the music, as is most people, rock music, but as well like the show and stuff and how they present themselves and the energy and all that sort of thing. Especially like Airborne as well, same thing. It's just
that's cool.
You come on the stage, it's a massive explosion for 2 hours and then they're gone. Like the whole visual aspect of the energy and stuff is pretty inspiring.
Well, that's something I think we saw eye to eye on as well when we kind of joined forces, is that like my dad taught me from a young age that you know, a rock show is a rock show, and you got to give people, like, they came out to see you, they paid money to see you, you got to give them the show that they you know, they just deserve. And
they're not paying to see the people who live down the street type thing.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So you gotta, you know, give it your all. Give it your all, and you know, just try to do the best you can. And it's so much fun on stage because everyone moves and like if someone's jumping on this thing and then someone jumping
who's where,
and his brother is like the most like passionate drummer you'll ever see in your life. Like he's just
and
that's cool.
The head and everything.
And rehearsal is always really fun as well because he just goes for it every
He'll just come out with
time.
some funky thing for a little bit and he'll start tapping everything. It's like what?
Surprise, huh?
It's crazy good.
So funny.
You know,
it works for us, so we're really, really happy.
That's great to hear, you know, that you say that, because it really is about the whole thing. It's not just the songs coming up, it's how you deliver it and that experience. And you guys definitely have it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I see this band and everything that you're doing. This is going to be extended for a long period of time.
Thank you.
You guys are that good. It's really great to hear it. You know, Cassidy, you did a cover. We talked about Pat Benatar, and I was a Benatar fan for a long time until I finally got to see her opening for Styx. That was the only time I got to see her. Unfortunately, I was blown away.
Yeah.
And you covered a song that's my favorite Benatar song, "Promises in the Dark."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which you know, when I listened to you do it, you know, it was amazing how it came off, because it was you stayed true to the actual essence of the song, but you made it yours too. Tell us what it's like to, you know, to cover a song like that and really get it out there the way that you did.
Yeah, no, it's been really, really cool to and thank you so much for saying that, because I'm such a big Pat Benatar fan, and when you cover anything, I think there's always a sense of nervousness putting it out, because you know, you're such a big fan of the artist yourself and you just want people to enjoy it. So Pat Benatar has been a huge influence on myself for so many years now, and I think that you can really hear that in the live performances, or see that in live performances and hear it in the music. And I think that that's a song, like we were actually listening to that song yesterday, and watching her perform that yesterday night, and my dad and I were just saying like how powerful her songs are. Like they're just great songs, and she's such a awesome artist as well. So it's cool to, you know, put a new spin on something that's a classic, and I really enjoy doing that sometimes. And as much as it's all about the originals for us, like it's fun to, you know, have a crack at a cover from now and then.
Well, that's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Tom, while we're talking about this, I want to bring up something to you. How about favorite guitar player? You know, I got to see some of the live stuff that you guys are doing, and I love what you're doing. So I figured, hey, let's ask him favorite guitar player.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I suppose it's got to be sort of Angus Young, I guess. But of course Malcolm Young as well. He's a massive part of it, because he's just he's holding down the fort. He stood there at the back, filling in all the gaps, just doing basic stuff that probably, if you know, if I was just doing a YouTube video or something and you played Malcolm stuff, it'd be like, oh, well, this is boring. But in a band, you've got to have like those gaps filled in, and he just, yeah, he's the glue for the whole band for me. And then obviously Angus Young's solos are great, and the way he sort of gets around the scales and stuff in not such, he's not one of those guitarists that's like you know, going so fast that you can't see what he's doing and everything, but it's more like taste stuff. I've always thought, like, in terms of guitar solos, it's got to be like something that actually adds to the song, instead of just going, hey, I've got 20 seconds, look how fast I can play. It's sort of better to do something that's more like kind of tasteful, or people can hum it or whatever.
Yeah. I was gonna say the exact same thing. If you sing the solo, I think that's a good solo a lot of the time.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
So the Young brothers, I'd say, not Angus Young or Malcolm, but the Young brothers, they're very inspirational, I'd say.
That's right. That's great to hear that, because you know, it's all about the melody and the things that you remember as a fan. You know,
exactly.
The hooks, that's what you carry with you.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason, you know, everyone's doing it, so people can remember the songs. And if you're trying to do something at a million miles an hour, nobody's going to remember it, you know.
Yeah, very true.
That's right, they forget quick.
Okay, what about like us anyway?
Yeah.
You guys are doing it the right way, believe me. Melody and just bringing that whole thing right there. It's amazing. What about the rest of 2024? I mean, you brought in, you know, this great album, you know, obviously a month and a half in, getting the, you know, the accolades, you know, this fast. And, you know, it's great to see it, because it's so well deserved. And, you know, for this music genre to see, you know, younger artists like you bringing it back and carrying that torch, and doing it the right way too. It's not like you're doing it, you know, to be a poser or any of that stuff. You guys are legit and doing it right. And it's great to hear it, honestly. So what about the rest of 2024? What do we have in store for us as fans?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so much to come in 2024. A lot of touring, which is exciting. And yeah, so anyone that's listening, keep your eyes peeled for that, because there's a bunch of touring that's going to be happening. And we're definitely very excited to be hopefully putting out some new stuff. Whether that be in 2024 or whether that be early 2025, we're always doing something. There's always something happening, and
there's lots of gears in motion at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. We just can't talk a lot about them.
I know.
Yeah, we're very excited as well with the success of the album, that we're able to, you know, go and tour internationally and play for people that have never heard us live before, have never heard us before, full stop. So we feel very grateful that we've been given the opportunities to do that for people.
And you're with the right group too. You know, when, you know, I heard Alessandro and the people at Frontiers, and, you know, I interview a lot of their artists, and it's amazing, you know, what they do, not only from, you know, the top, but all the artists and the PR people, you know, they do an amazing job. So you guys are at the right place, believe me.
They really do. And Frontiers have been such an awesome family to be part of, and we we met a lot of the UK side of Frontiers when we just toured the UK, and that was really special because we got to have some, you know, conversations that weren't over a Zoom or an email with them. So it's always exciting from like an artist perspective, but they have so many plans for us, and we have so many ideas and plans as well. So we feel very grateful to be a part of that family.
That's great to hear it. That's great to hear it. How about any last words for the fans? Anything that you guys want to get out there? I know we can't hear anything about what's being behind the scenes, but
I guess that's the main thing. Just make sure you're following us on social media and stuff, and just keep your eyes peeled, because there'll be stuff coming soon. It's sort of videos and stuff. And
and we're doing a cool couple of covers as well that we're going to put out. Like I said, we like to have a little bit of a go at a cover every now and then when we're not on the road. So it's been a really awesome journey so far, and we can't wait to continue to be on this journey with everyone.
it's fantastic to hear. We're looking forward to more and new sensation, everybody. Obviously, December 8th it came out. Get on it, because it's a great album. It's a great band doing it exactly right, the way we want to hear it, carrying the torch. And I want to thank you guys for being on the show. I mean,
thank you so much for having us. Yeah. It's been chatting to you.
I wish you nothing but the best. You know, I know this is going to do well. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the US. I'd love to have you on a show again. Anytime you have anything that you want to get out there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Awesome. We'll come back.
Guys.
Thanks
Good luck on tour. Good luck with the album, and I hope you sell 1 billion copies, not even 1 million.
Thank you. Thanks for your support. Cheers.
Keep rocking. Thanks, guys.
Catch you soon.
We'll
Talk
see
soon.
you.